G'day there, my name is Hannah, and today I'm going to give you my Andor Season 1 review. Now, there's things that I love about this show and things that I not so love, so let's get into it. The themes in this show I think were really well thought out of. Essentially, the whole tone is the reason to fight. Why do people have the reason to fight? And they showed different levels of how you can fight. You see Andor being pretty indifferent and not really caring at the start of the season, and obviously changes until, for the end of the season. We see people like Kino Loy and his opinion on, you should just succumb to the power. Then you have people like Luthen, who's pretty radical and quite violent and ruthless with the way he needs to fight back, but he's fighting back for good. Then we have someone like Mon Mothma, who has all the wealth, who has the prestige and status, and people know her name. But it is so hard to get around the Empire that she's finding it so hard to sneak through how she wants to fight. And, she is shocked when, Luthen goes ahead with his Aldani plan. It's a really fascinating mix of all these characters trying to define what they're fighting for and how they're going to fight. And I think that was one of the main concepts throughout the show that I really, really enjoyed. Everything in this show was so well done for me. I thought it was really, really professional. It didn't feel small. And, one thing that was before this show came out was a really big conversation around the use of the volume. And, obviously they used that heavily for The Mandalorian and used it for Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi, and the fact that Tony Gilroy mainly instigated the idea of not using the volume for this show. I actually think that was to a benefit, and I didn't really have an opinion before, but now seeing the full length of Andor, the whole season, and how expansive it feels and how big it feels, I think I prefer location shooting for Star Wars. As much as I thought the volume was genius, and it is still an incredible piece of technology that I think will be used in a lot of Star Wars projects, location filming and not using the volume, I think really benefited this show. The acting in this show was incredible. I don't think I have any complaints with it. Diego Luna was fantastic as he developed these feelings and for the rebellion and what he should be standing for in his relationship to Marva and Bix. He played it so well, and he played it so well in Rogue One, but even better in this show as we really got to see a closer side of that. Fiona Shaw as Marva, one of my complaints is probably we didn't get enough Marva. I thought she was a fantastic character, and I would have loved to see a little bit more of her journey and what she had to say of the rebellion. We got her amazing speech at the finale, but I think she could have been involved a little bit more. Another actor, which to my surprise, and I feel bad that I say I'm surprised by, but was Andy Serkis. But I think because I'm so used to seeing him in a mocap suit, seeing him live action was just amazing to me. And I think he performed the whole intensity of the prison scene so well. The pressure, the stress, the high stakes, he really conveyed that to us. And I think a lot of the tension that was built up over those episodes was because of his performance. The production level of the lighting and just some of the shots we get in these episodes was just incredible. Especially the Aldani heist episode, and even the prison episodes has some fantastic, very cinematic shots to explain the story. And I think, that's one of the best things about Star Wars is that you can take almost every scene and turn it into a movie poster. And I think this show did that well. There was so much, grand open shots of a space, of a city, of a planet, of something that you could really turn into a movie poster. It had that dramaticness to it. And I think that really added to making this feel more of a Star Wars show. Now, here is where I get into a bit more of my subjective response to things. There's something about Andor that I can't quite put my finger on, that I can't fully personally connect to Star Wars. Now, if we think about it, we all have our own definitions of what Star Wars is. It's a story about hope. It's movies about adventure. It could be anything. And I'm still in the process of trying to answer that question myself. So I can't define why I don't fully connect Andor is Star Wars until I think I answer that question for myself, which I'm still in the process of. Another very subjective opinion I have as well is the pacing. So everyone's going to want different pacings for different shows. And I think coming into this show, I was wanting something a little bit faster. But that's saying I really enjoy slow Star Wars. I think the prequel movies are fairly slow-paced movies. It's very slow, still shots, lots of thinking, lots of panning shots. And so I don't think I really wanted a fast-paced Andor, but there was something in we kind of cycled on the one idea or conversation a little too long, and then other parts I was like, why did we skip that? We should have gotten that scene more. I felt like it was cut halfway through a conversation. But that, again, is down to personal preference, and that's just my opinion of it. The one thing I will go down to my grave saying is that I am kind of very largely annoyed at the fact that we didn't get this dinner party scene that was fairly heavily hinted at the start of the show, where we could have gotten Sly Moore sitting at a table with Mon Mothma. We could have had some other cool appearances from different senators and having a really interesting political conversation about the Empire, and then there's tension and Mon Mothma's trying to say things, but Sly Moore's there. Like, I feel like that's a missed opportunity. But in saying that, there are a few things that I just, from a Star Wars fan point of view, which is absolutely loved. I love the absolute importance we put on the Bell guy, on Ferrix. We met him so dramatically really back at Celebration. That was the first teaser we got, was of that guy. Then he was heavily involved in the premiere episodes. And then he came back in the finale, and he was such a big part of the finale. And like a main plot point of the finale was trying to get that Bell guy down and go kill him. And then he knocked out the Stormtrooper. I thought, for a bit of fun, for a bit of Star Wars random spotlight on, he was awesome. So like any Star Wars project, there was a lot of things I really liked about it. There was great characters, there was great scenes, some really cool conversations, and some amazing action pieces. But there was also the things that I felt were lacking, and I felt like I missed out on, and we could have seen more of. We could have seen more of this character. We probably could have seen more of Mon Mothma and more Marva. But again, that's a subjective response, and that's just because I really loved those characters. I give the show overall completely a solid 7 out of 10, and that's a very happy 7 out of 10. It's not like, oh, it wasn't that good. I was like, no, I'm very happy with this show, and I was excited every week, every Wednesday for when it was coming out. I was very keen to see what happened, and at the end of the episode, it made me have all these questions for what was to come, which I think is a good effect to have. Let me know if you had any other thoughts to add, or maybe you agreed or completely disagreed with me on any of these ideas. Comment below and let me know your review as well. I would love to hear it. Make sure you're here for the live show. That's every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. My name is Hannah, and always choose the Raeside.